I don't want to talk about it. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Read, share, repeat, where we discuss books from the perspective of an aspiring fantasy author. Me, Carrie Share. And today I am embarking on my road trip up to Kansas City to watch the Super Bowl with my dad and all the local fans. And I am just getting some gas before I hit the road. It is approximately an 8-hour drive, and I've done it many times before. My dad has lived there my whole life pretty much, and I've lived down here for the last like 20 years. So I'm really excited for the game. I'm really excited to have some time off from work, and I brought some books. I brought my laptop. Once the big game is over and done with, I'll have my entertainment. As soon as I get on the road, my plan is to hit play on my audiobook. I will be finishing out, hopefully, Trial of the Sun Queen. I think I only have like 6 hours left, so that should be pretty easily handled, and then we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. My face is all red because I was loading my car. But yeah, come along with me on my Super Bowl Kansas City Chiefs fandom vacation road trip. Hey y'all, just checking in really quickly. It is now Sunday morning, and I made it to my dad's house early evening yesterday. Drive was great. Honestly, that is like one of the easiest road trips I've ever had to do. Very, very easy. It's pretty much a straight line and pretty flat and boring. So I was able to listen to the majority of the remainder of Trial of the Sun Queen. I still have about an hour left. I didn't end up like starting it right away as soon as I got on the road, like I said I was going to yesterday, so I didn't get to finish it. But I'm definitely going to finish it while I'm here. Like I said, I only have like an hour left. It's just that today, as you can see, it's game day, and my dad and I are about to head out to the venue to go watch the game, and I don't anticipate having any updates probably for the rest of the day, but I'll try and take some video clips to show you kind of where I'm at and what's going on. But I'm so excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, and then maybe once I finish that book, I will talk to you guys about it. But for now, I am just ready to get a move on and go watch this game. Wish us luck from the future, because you'll be watching this after the game is over, but still, good vibes are appreciated. I don't want to talk about it. Good morning. It is now Tuesday morning, and as you can see, I'm still suffering the effects from Sunday night. And I'm actually just about to pack up and leave because Kansas is about to get like a foot of snow dumped on them. And I am a Texas girly, and I don't feel entirely confident driving in snow. So I am taking off and headed back home. I know I haven't been very good about vlogging any of my trips so far, but I've really just been enjoying time with my family and my dad and just enjoying the experience. And I'm really glad I came, even though the outcome of the game wasn't what I wanted. The experience was really, really fun to be downtown with all of my people and enjoying that. Like I said, even though the outcome was kind of shitty. And I got to see more of my family, and my dad took me to a very popular, I don't know if I would call it famous, but famous for Kansas City barbecue spot for dinner last night, and it was really good. So all in all, it's been a really, really good trip. I'm really glad I came. But now I've got to get on the road, try and get out ahead of the snow, and try and beat some rush hour traffic, because if I dawdle too long, then it'll be 5 o'clock when I'm getting back into DFW, and we don't want to deal with that traffic. So it's been a good trip. Of course, my vacation is not officially over, of course, just because I'm leaving Kansas. I still have the rest of the week off. So the rest of the vlog will be from home as I take my time off and try and rest and relax and hopefully get back into a swing of things. So the next time you see me, I think I'll probably be at my house. Hey y'all, it is now actually Thursday morning. Yes, I did leave on a Tuesday. And it is now Thursday, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I have spent like the last, and this is not an exaggeration, like 40 hours bed rotting. Pretty much as soon as I got home on Tuesday, it was about 4:15-ish, 4:30. I said hello to my partner, we kissed, hugged, said hello, and then I got in bed. And the idea was that like, I don't really sleep very well when I travel, and I definitely did not sleep very well this last trip, and plus the drive, and I was just tired. So I went and I got in bed, and I napped, and I just was like, you know what, it's already 7 o'clock. I'm gonna order some dinner, and I'm just gonna hang out in bed. And that's what I did. And then I got up on Wednesday morning, and I was just like, I didn't want to do anything. I did not want to do anything, and so I spent pretty much the whole day on my phone watching TikToks, doing crosswords, and just nothing really. I didn't even really read, which would have been way more productive if I was going to be in bed. But anyway, and now it is just after 10 a.m. I just got out of bed on Thursday, and I've decided I'm probably going to read most of the day. I'm going to do the same thing except also read. Oh, I haven't even told you about The Familiar. So I started The Familiar on the trip back from Kansas City, and I got through about 70% of it, which was a bummer because I was really hoping to almost finish it, because now that I'm home and I don't have a long commute, I know it's just going to take me forever just to finish out these last 2 hours, but it is what it is. Anyway, I'm liking it, actually. I didn't think that I would love it, but there's something about audiobooks where I think it kind of makes it easier for me to enjoy, because I can't pay as close attention audio, which is really weird because, as you know, I can't listen to audio in the course of my daily life. So I just find it kind of funny that like I listen to audiobooks and I'm like, yeah, that was good, because I can't engage with it in the same way I can do with written text. So like I finished Trial of the Sun Queen on the first leg of the trip, and I was like, yeah, all right. I do not think I would have had that reaction if I read Trial of the Sun Queen physically. I mean, I think I ended up giving it 2.5 stars because there were some like goofy things about it. But my initial instinct was, yeah, all right, 3 stars. Right now, I'm probably leaning between 3.5 and 4 for The Familiar. It really just depends on how the ending goes. Like, I'm not in love with it, but I also don't think that 3 stars is fair enough to it. So I don't love the religious themes. I don't. I never do. And I don't really love historical settings. So those are like just automatic, like small little dings. But one thing I will say is like one thing that really bothered me about Lee Bardugo's writing in Six of Crows was how it kept pausing the narration to go back in time and do like a flashback or like show us like previous context. And I felt like that was really detrimental to the story, because we kept pausing the action and going and to look backward. And I don't love that. And I have heard that Ninth House is a little similar, and there are a lot of flashbacks. And so I was a little bit worried that we were going to get a lot of that. And there is elements of it, but not in a way that I feel like is distracting. And again, maybe that is because I am listening to it on audio. I don't know, but I am liking it. I like the romance. I like the kind of, the plot is a little weird. It's just a little bit like, sure, okay, whatever. But the characters moving within the plot, I like, and what their ambitions and goals are. So yeah, I like I said, it really just depends on how the ending goes. I will try and see if I can carve out 2 hours over the next 4 days to finish it before the end of the weekends, before I go back to work. Because once I get back into the flow of real life, I just don't see a lot of audio listening happening. But we'll see. That's kind of where we're at. So my goal today is to finally finish What the River Knows, my reread of What the River Knows. Unfortunately, we're getting into the part of the book that was my least favorite, which is the ending. And that's why I think I need to like make it like a concrete goal today. Take about 3 hours probably and finish it so that I can move on, because I feel like I've been reading this book for 2 weeks. Actually, I've been reading this book for 2 weeks, and I just need to move on. And then I really need to make progress in We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faizal, because I've only like 4 days left on my library loan. And like my loan for The Tiger and the Wolf expired. I just let it because I read the first like 5 or 6 pages. But after like rereading like the synopsis, I was just like, I don't know if I care about this. I'm sure that I could read it at some point and be invested, but I just wasn't feeling it. It's not that the writing was bad. I thought it was fine, and I think the plot is probably fine too. I just wasn't feeling it. So that's probably just going to go back on my list of maybe in the future, but not now. So I've got to finish What the River Knows, read like the first 150 pages of We Hunt the Flame. That's a nice, maybe 125 of We Hunt the Flame. And then I would like to get started on What the Library Hides, which is the sequel to What the River Knows. So my goal for the next couple of days is to read a bunch and rest, get a bunch of rest in before real life starts back up. Anyway, that is my little update. I'm sorry I'm not sorry for anything. I'm sorry I look a mess. I'll check in with you again probably later today, hopefully once I've made some progress in one of these books. All right, it is now just a couple hours later, and I did indeed finish What the River Knows. Finally, it only took me about 2 weeks. Yeah, I think this may be an unpopular opinion, but I liked it just as much the second time as the first time. Is it perfect? No, of course not. Is it frustrating that the key driver of the plot is Inez, the main character, being constantly lied to? Yes, of course it is. But honestly, I think that Inez's determination and willpower and drive and just tenacity is what makes this book for me. It is so rare, I think, to find a main female character who experiences the obstacles that she does, that overcomes them with pure willpower. A lot of times things go right for our heroines because they have to in order to move the plot. In this case, the plot is being moved by the deception and keeping her in the dark and treating her as if she is this delicate flower that can't possibly comprehend the politics of her own family or the serious nature of what the ultimate goal is. If you're not familiar, it's a treasure hunt in Egypt, and they're looking for a specific thing. In this book, it is Cleopatra's tomb. Yes, that's frustrating, but I think the joy of this book is watching Inez work through that and overcome it in some areas and fall into pitfalls that were avoidable if they had just brought her into their confidence and actually trusted her to handle the knowledge without falling to pieces. The most frustrating thing is that the people responsible for hiding things from Inez don't really ever actually accept their complicity in the events that unfold. That is frustrating, but I also think that's that's realistic. They're always going to pin the blame on the person who stumbled in and changed everything rather than examine their own fault. It's shitty, but I'm not mad at that either in terms of like way that it was a part of the plot. Yeah, so I have heard from a couple of other booktubers that they didn't really like it. Some people weren't a fan of the lying and the constant like treating of Inez as this, like she's this toddler who can't, be trusted to look after herself in any way, shape, or form. And I get that. And then I've also heard some people complain about the characters, and they are my favorite part. I think Inez is one of my favorite heroines that I've read in a while, because the author didn't fall into that pitfall of making the main character seem really, really smart when everything else in the plot is demonstrating that she is actually really dumb. Inez does get tricked and is not completely aware of everything, of all of the intrigue going around on her, but it's not for the lack of trying. She is doing everything that she can. And when she is tricked, it's because just how horribly she's been treated by pretty much everyone in her life. I don't know. I can't blame her for that, really. So, like I said, I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion, but I still like this. There is a character death at the end that I find to be pretty cringe, and it really feels like it was really only done for shock value. I don't really think it added much to the ending of this book, but I kind of expected to like it less on reread, but I didn't. I ended up liking it just as much. And if that's an unpopular opinion, it is, so it is. Now, the thing is, I think I'm gonna do something that I normally try to avoid, and I think I'm just gonna pick up immediately What the Library Hides, the sequel. I try not to read books in a series back to back because it kind of makes me tired of the story and the setting and the plot and the characters and everything. I think having a break between entries allows me like the time I need to digest and not feel overly weary of everything that the books are about. Since What the River Knows was a reread though, I'm hoping maybe that won't be the case. And I really would like to get a series crossed off my list for this year. It's already mid-February and I haven't done any like progression into any series yet. And since this is only a duology, if I can sit down and I could probably, if this is actually shorter than the first one, yeah, by about 20 pages. So I could, with some dedication, I could certainly finish this in the next couple of days and knock it off my list of series. So I do need to get into We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal. That is time sensitive, but I think I'm gonna sit down and read a little bit of What the Library Hides. So that is my plan for at least the next couple of hours, is just read and see how I feel. And if I feel like I need to take a break, I'll step back and get into the other one. I was sort of thinking that maybe this was one of those books that just came to me at the right time, and I had a little bit of rose-colored glasses on when I finished it because I enjoyed it so much. But as I said, I think it held up on reread. Everything I liked about it when the first time I read it was true the second time. And I actually think that the ending wasn't as cringy as I remembered. It still was pretty cringy. I don't love that character death. I think it was kind of a waste. I'm a little bit nervous based on the twist or the cliffhanger at the very end, what that will entail. But I think that I'm ready. I'm ready to get into this one and put a bow on the whole series. So that is what I'm gonna do. And I will check in with you in a little bit. I like how this has turned into more of a reading vlog because I'm not going anywhere now. Like the vacation is still in progress, but it is more of a staycation now because I am just hanging out at home. So I hope that's fine that this is becoming a reading vlog, but confession. I love A Marriage of Convenience. Okay, so it is now Thursday evening, and guess what? I finished What the Library Hides. I know. I'm sad to say that I didn't like this as much as the first one. I still like Inez, and I still am rooting for her all the way. But part of what really turned me off is there's A Marriage of Convenience, which I love. Oh, I should probably spoiler warning this. Fairly large spoilers for the end of What the River Knows, and fairly large spoilers for this one as well. Okay, warning. Gonna put a watermark right here. Come back when it is gone and spoilers will be over. Okay, so there's A Marriage of Convenience, which I love. I love marriages of convenience. The problem is that they ruin it. Like 100 pages in, there is a big betrayal. Whit, I'm in a spoiler section, so I can talk about it. Whit betrays Inez's trust pretty severely. And it's pretty clear to me that the only reason it was done was to create tension between the two of them for the remainder of the book, because the plot line is largely dropped after that, and it's frustrating. So what he does is as soon as he has access to her money, he wires it to his family in Britain, because apparently they are in severe debt, and the only way to get out of it is to marry his younger sister off to a wealthy person. And of course he's so I love my sister, I'll do anything for her. That was his plan all along, was to get money to send back. And Inez and her fortune was just the easiest way to do that. And based on everything, all the buildup in the first book to that plot, I feel like that plot would have been better if it had been drawn out throughout and then been the major climax betrayal. It wasn't. So we've got this drama between them because, she's like, I fucking hate you. Not enough, in my opinion. And then at the end, they reconcile within just a couple of pages. And she said the one thing I wanted her to say, which is not about the money, it's about the betrayal of trust. But she's like, but I forgive you. And it's just like, and then at the very, very end, the sister in question like comes to Egypt for a vacation. It's just like using her money, using Inez's money. You came and are just squandering it on this vacation. That's nice. That's fine. Whatever. And then like in the back, it refers to Wit's financial donation. And it's just like, no, that's not what that was. He literally stole. I mean, the amount isn't referenced, but it's literally everything, her entire inheritance. So that was a huge disappointment, because it was clearly done for maximum, like, to create tension between the two of them for the rest of the book. And after it was hinted at throughout the first one, I just feel like it deserved more page time. And then the way it was resolved, I also really hated it. Like, he was not nearly punished enough for what he did. And I think that really soured my whole experience with the book. I think without that, I probably would have given this at least a 3.5, maybe even a 4. But I was so, like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And every time they interacted and he would like push the boundary a little bit, she would just give in instead of like rightfully putting distance between them and like making him earn her trust back. I don't feel like he ever really did. He got shot and she's like, oh, I don't want him to die. And that's how they reconcile. And it's just like, grow a spine, bitch. Like, that was the reason I liked you in the first place. Please get it together. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to give this one a 3, a little bit of a disappointment. And see, this is part of the reason why I don't read things back to back, because like, oh, and then there was a subplot that was like painfully obvious. I mean, at least Isabella Ibanez did not do the one thing that I hate the most, which is make the main character seem like she's on top of everything, only to have this extremely obvious thing whammy her at the end. She didn't. And in fact, I kind of like the way that Inez handled that whole plot. I'm in the spoiler section, I can tell you. Isadora from the previous book arrives and basically is like, hey, did you know that we're actually sisters? Your mom and my dad had me. And Inez is like, oh, damn, I've always wanted a sister. Come right in. And it's just like, I knew immediately that she was lying. And while she wasn't lying about the relationship, she was just lying about her intentions. And I just like that. It was so obvious. And to their credit, Wit was like, this, it's pretty obvious that she's lying to you. And Inez is just like, she needs so badly for someone to love her because her mother betrayed her and her father is dead, and her husband, who she actually did care for, it turns out he was only marrying her for money, which he immediately gave away. And and her cousin was murdered at the beginning. You know, like, there's so, like, she's so desperate for love, unconditional love, that she just latches. Like, I don't have a problem with Inez not being able to see it. I think that makes total sense for her. It makes me kind of wonder, like, did the author want to make it ambiguous, or was it her intention to make it super obvious the whole time? Because it was super obvious the whole time. Like, her own stories weren't even matching up, and I just wanted someone to point out that her stories weren't matching up, and I was just like, come on, I'm not dumb. But like I said, I wasn't mad that Inez didn't catch on. I get it. And then the ending was just so like, did we have to go this route? It turns out that her dad isn't dead, but he's also evil. And he has been masquerading as Mr. Sterling character from the first book the whole time. And I kind of hated that. I wasn't really in love with that. I kind of hoped that he would be alive. And I even kind of hoped that he wouldn't be what he seemed. But that just seemed like a little bit of a bridge too far. And just like seeing how everything in Inez's life has been manipulated. And especially since she came to Egypt and like she had no real agency. She's manipulated at every turn, which is a shame because like I feel like her tenacity and her determination is the best quality about her, and I just hate how it was like twisted to be a bad thing in the end. Anyway, so I didn't love it, unfortunately, but I did like the first one. I'm gonna stick by that. Obviously, like, you could tell that I liked the first one more than I liked the second one. But I also feel like when I annotate books that I'm reading for the first time, I do tend to slow down towards the back end because I'm just wanting to consume it. And like when I'm annotating books I've read before, I kind of know what to be on the lookout for. I know what characters are important and I know what mysteries there are, and so I can kind of tab them along the way. So maybe my like annotation needs to be reevaluated. Anyway, so that's that. It is currently, you're on my phone and I don't have my watch, but I think it's like, oh, I know exactly what time it is because my alarm just went off. It's 9 o'clock. And I think I'm going to get back on the couch where I was and start We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faizal. I would really like to read another physical book. I do have The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker queued up as my next physical read, but I only have 4 days left on this loan, and like it's more like 3.5. So I need to read a huge chunk of it tomorrow and a huge chunk of it preferably Saturday. Oh my gosh, I have homework. Oh well. So, and I need to do homework apparently, I just remembered. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna get back on the couch and try and get a bunch of that read. And then tomorrow the weekend will officially start and I gotta focus on homework and writing and getting my life back together before I go back to work. It's been a fun, long day of reading. I'm kind of glad that I've been doing it. It's nice to fill in my Goodreads, my Storygraph, and my own personal book tracker. I haven't been tracking my rereads on Storygraph or Goodreads, even though I could on Storygraph because I only just started using it, so I haven't tagged these books that I've read as read yet. But I guess I'm just like, I'm not counting them towards my reading challenge goal. But if we get to the end of the year and my rereads will make up the difference, then maybe I will. But so I'm including them on my spreadsheet, but not in Storygraph. I don't know, or Goodreads. I don't know if that's the right choice. I don't really know. I'm just sort of winging it here. But that means I have read 11 books. Oh, you know what? I should also probably try and finish The Familiar this weekend too. My alarms keep going off and interrupting me. I think I shall take that as a sign to stop talking and get back to reading. So next up is We Hunt the Flame, and then for the rest of the weekend it's gonna be homework and writing and hopefully finishing We Hunt the Flame and possibly The Familiar. All right, I'm done talking. See you tomorrow. One last thing. I'm not even done with it yet, but I bought it. Okay, so it is now Friday evening and I have actually finished another book, except it's not either of the ones I was supposed to be reading. I just finished The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. This was on my TBR for the month, so I was being good in that regard, but I did have like 8 days left on it. But I decided to just poke into it last night before I went to bed, and I read the first 10%, and it was just so soft and light and kind of like a fairy tale, and I knew I could get through it really quickly. So I read a little bit of it last night, and then I just finished it over the course of the afternoon today. And I liked it. I did. It was just exactly like, look at this. It was just, like I said, so charming and light and like fairy tale-esque and sweet and easy to read. That puts books that I have finished this vacation up to 4. And if I can finish The Familiar sometime this weekend, that'll make 5. 6 if I can finish We Hunt the Flame. That's like 450 pages. So, but speaking of which, I am gonna start that next for sure this time. Yeah, because I only have 3 days left on the hold. So I have to finish it by Monday morning. I'm gonna go ahead and get settled in with that now. My kids are due back from their dad's house within an hour. So I think I'm gonna take advantage of the quiet while I still have it and get some more reading done. And then I have to actually get some homework done because I haven't done any of that all day today, and writing, which I also haven't done despite saying that I would. I'm gonna go ahead and get started on We Hunt the Flame, and then it'll be homework and writing time. Hello, it is now Saturday morning, and I am just about to head out to do some running around and get some work done. My daughter has a play date with one of her very best friends who she never gets to see because they no longer go to the same school or daycare. So she's very excited about that. And then after I drop her off, I'm going to go to the bookstore, do my unhauls because I still haven't done that yet, and maybe do some browsing. And then my plan is to wait out the rest of the play date at the library so I can get some work done. I have noticed that I can be very productive when I am not in my home when I want to be. So I've got to get some homework done. My goal is to at least get my microeconomics homework done for the week. That is a quiz that I need to do the reading for and a short paper. And then I would also like to start some writing since I have pretty much taken almost a month off from writing. So I am ready to get back onto that wagon. That is my plan for the day. I also have to read quite a bit of We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal because I read about the first 20 pages last night and I just zonked out. I was just so tired. And I am starting to really fear that I'm not gonna have time to finish it. So I need to read like half the book today and half the book tomorrow. But if I want to do that, I need to get at least half my homework done today so that I'm not scrambling to get it all done tomorrow, provided I get the econ stuff done today. So goals for the day: read 240 pages, write 2,500 words, get my econ homework done, go to the bookstore. Not necessarily in that order. It's only 11:30, not quite noon. I'm just about to leave. I got plenty of time, right? To get all that done. Let's get after it. Well, y'all, I did it. It is now Sunday afternoon, and I have finished not just We Hunt the Flame, but I also finished The Familiar too, which brings the total amount of books that I finished on this vacation to 6. To recap, I read Trial of the Sun Queen, then I finished What the River Knows and its sequel, Where the Library Hides. I then read The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. I read We Hunt the Flame, and then I finished out The Familiar, which I started on the road trip. So yeah, 6. Wow. That's pretty dang good if I say so myself. So I am currently on the 16th of February up to 7 total, when I read 7 total in all of January. So I'm pretty excited. I have picked my next couple of reads. My physical read is going to be The Hurricane Wars by Tia Guanzon. I have this very pretty sprayed edge version that I am really excited about. I was going to read the Bone Ships by R.J. Barker, but I do owe a annotation vlog, and I've already read the Bone Ships, and I don't think that would make for a very good vlog. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up The Hurricane Wars by Tia Guanzon, and then my ebook that I'm going to pick up is Sailing to Sarantium by Guy Gavriel Kay. That was my random draw out of my Mimic this month. So we'll see. I'm not committing to that. I feel very nervous about books that I don't know very much about, especially older ones, which this one is. And that wraps up this vacation vlog. I know there wasn't a lot of traveling involved, but I hope you enjoyed nonetheless. So thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate it. If you like my content and want to support the channel, please like and subscribe, or consider leaving a comment down below. Let me know which one of these 6 books you have on your TBR, or which one was your favorite. In my next video, I will have my tarot card book recommendation for you for the month. I hope you look forward to it, and I will see you then. Bye.